Welcome back to the Electric Z. On this episode, we're going to be patching a bunch of metal panels. This episode, sponsored by KF Vintage.
I'm not at the intro, bro. We're back to reality.
Yeah, well,
The things you do for that first clip.
is this going to teeter-totter over?
Like, he makes it look so easy to the point where I kind of felt like I could do it, but you just brought me back to reality. So.
You can't do
Well,
it.
since
We're
we
the same
jacked it
height.
up, I have to go.
Oh.
Damn.
You see that? No hands?
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've seen us use these panels on Patrick's Z. We did floor pans. We did these same exact panels that we're putting on our Z. The firewall, the battery tray floor, full frame rails and all that stuff. But we're gonna go through exactly what we have already got set up and what we're gonna continue to do. Get all of the rust, most of the rust cut out of this thing and have a full solid car again.
And not to forget, this was a wrecked vehicle. I think this should be.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna be salty and like, you guys are ruining a car that could be salvaged, I'm sure. Some people, most of our audience is pretty cool. But this thing was completely, I mean, it had been wrecked, so you will see we had to move the frame rail a good bit. But it also was like completely stripped. It was just a chassis and it was rusty as hell. Like the floors were gone. A lot of the firewall was gone. This section up here is still pretty bad.
They had a one-way ticket to Z Heaven, but
Yeah.
you revoked that really fast.
Yeah, we're saving her, so suck it up. Our first step was actually running the frame rails. And if you look over here, you can see like KF Vintage sells two different size frame rails. They sell a half frame rail, which is just the floor section, but Z's, 240Z specifically, only have a frame rail that goes 2/3 of the way of the floor pan, and it just stops. It doesn't connect to the back section. So what we did was we got a set of full frame rails, which would usually go 2/3 of the way. And then we got a set of their half frame rails and we chopped them. And if you look over here, we chopped them and then braced them in the middle. Nice thick piece of steel. And then now they're welded all the way to the back section of the floor pans. Which there's another frame rail that runs through here, and then there's a big brace that bolts in. So they're super sturdy now. I can stand on these guys. There's not an issue because we do have carbon floors that are going in. Our first set of carbon floor pans, which are actually made off of a set of KF Vintage's floor pans. So shout out to them again. We now have full frame rails, no rust in them. When we pulled out the frame rail, we were able to get underneath with a lot of that rust converter you guys like, the Marhide stuff. It's all rust proofed, new frame rails in. So now we're moving on to this section, which was clearly hit pretty hard. The frame rail was pushed in. We could tell it was not, we were about 25 inches between each frame rail up here. And then we were 2 inches off maybe, an inch and a half off. It was pretty bad. So we used a porta power, pushed it across where,
What is a porta power?
porta power is just a hydraulic press essentially.
Oh, okay.
It's right there on the ground. Hydraulic press that just put more fluid into it, it expands the tube essentially. So we just throw the tube in there.
So it's like a
expand it
portable
out.
jack.
Yeah. It's same thing as a jack essentially. But we can do it horizontally where it's not gonna trying to hold a jack up and
Yeah.
possible. But yeah, so we got all that set up and now we're really tackling a lot of the worst panels, which was like this firewall section on the passenger floor up here, and then the battery tray floor, inner wheel well area. We did have to do a lot of hammer and dolly work around here, and this still needs to come out a good bit. So we ended up cutting this panel a little too short, so it should fit a lot nicer, but I got a little eager and sliced it shorter than it needed to be. Took out a little more metal, but we'll just patch it in with another panel. I wanted to note that because this is not KF Vintage's panel issue, it's my issue. But their panels have been clearly the best patch panels I've ever done. The patch, the new floors I put in my personal Z, my other personal Z, I guess.
We just got too many Z's.
I know, we got 5 Z's in this place right now.
Don't go to sleep.
A little 360.
yeah, actually, yeah, we never.
Oh yeah, no, they did see your car.
Yeah, 'cause
Probably in the background.
in the shop update video, we did show the Z. But either way, yeah, we got my wife's Z, my Carbon Z, the electric Z, we got Patrick's Z, and Ricardo's Z. It's nice. It's nice having a shop full of Z's. Then we got this thing.
Very sleepy.
Don't worry
on
about
like
that.
I said.
Yeah.
Too easy.
So we are going to be cutting out sections of this firewall piece, just the sections that stick forward, because again, we're going to be doing a carbon firewall. So like these little sections that stick forward and this long guy right here, we're going to have to cut out and put more patches similar to these. But yeah, from here it's really just hammer and dolly, do a nice little bit of massaging here. This frame rail needs to be straightened out a little bit, it's like bowed out. But we'll drill holes in this, clamp it together. We got as many clamps as we can have on both of these to like have them set up, but we're gonna do the passenger floor first, then we're gonna run to the battery trace section. And again, we're gonna probably patch in metal here and put a new piece here. So we also have a set of seat rails. This is like the back seat rail section. Wrong, this is the front seat rail section. We're gonna be modifying these just a little bit where they mount to the trans tunnel, because we're not gonna have a steel trans tunnel, we're gonna have a carbon trans tunnel. That's removable, so it'll have a section, but it'll probably not be a removable section where this mount section. And these are the back sections. So we're gonna make a little jig off of Patrick's old floorboards, make sure that everything's spaced perfectly, so it'll be stock Z positioning. And then we'll bond these into our carbon floors, probably with some rivets and stuff like that too. Definitely want to say a big shout out to KF Vintage. You'll find a link below that has like their website and stuff like that. Really easy to navigate, and they have a bunch of parts for old Celicas, Datsun 510s, a lot of Volkswagen bus stuff. They fully make an entire Volkswagen bus out of new stamped steel, like a 21
That's your next
window.
project?
No, I'm not into that stuff. Well, we're gonna get back to clamping and welding and getting this stuff patched up and grinding. But we'll check back in once we have everything solid, A-okay, and then we can get to painting and prepping this chassis.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
These old cars or something.
You wanna do lunch soon? Yeah, I'm hungry.
As he continues to crush away at barbecue chips.
Baked is the best.
I'm gonna have to disagree on that one.
What?
Kettle cooked?
Dude, the ones I bring. The Utz, like kettle smoking sweet barbecue.
This choice is fire. Yeah, those are my favorite. I was just about to say it was either those or it's like this honey sweet smoked ones. Or is that the same one you're talking
I
about?
think so.
Okay. Well, yeah.
You keep getting me all these crazy ones. Like I bought Cuban sandwich flavored Lay's.
Are they good?
They're good.
All
Yeah,
right.
like kind of like pickle chips.
Yeah.
They're
Slightly
probably
off.
just rebranding the dill pickles.
No, like pickle chips with a little bit of like ham flavoring of some sort of bacon powder or some shit.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I also tried. They have a baked buffalo chicken sandwich chip.
Baked?
They're okay. They're not great. They need more flavor. But
And you heard it first from the world's best chip condenser.
condenser.
Rebranded.
Condenser. I don't need this.
Are you putting that new one on? Okay.
Yeah.
So chop like here.
Yeah, I guess.
Or-
I kind of want to keep this. Well,
Yeah.
chop straight across there. Straight across here. Then move it all up. Like lift it up more, but then look how high I am. Fuck that. So it's like, oh, I know it needs to be here, which means the floor is way off. So we'll figure it out. Slicing and dicing.
how we want.
Yeah, it's meeting up pretty damn good. Here, you want to use this one instead of that? Right? So it's been a minute, but we're all finished here. So we got the passenger firewall patch in. We have the rear apron section patched in. We did fill this little section in. Wasn't a problem with the panel. Obviously, that was me cutting it a little too small, but just no problem. Patched in a little piece of metal. The little body filler fill in and smoothed it out, and then we sprayed it with Steelite. Then you also saw that we ran both of the frame rails, but we extended them as well. So,
How much of a pain was it?
which part? I mean, the frame rails were super easy. Matching the these two panels up is not really hard at all. They all fit really well. But I kind of like cheated this section right here. So if you really like took time and like peeled everything back up here, it'd be a lot easier than
I guess I was
did. But
also thinking like dealing with the rust aspect.
well, yeah, if you're welding to rust or something like that, it's
Oh, okay.
you can't do it. It'll just blow through. But luckily, that's why we have these panels to cut out all the rust. So we're pretty much rust free. We got some rust holes in the cowl area, but those are easy. The small little patches. They're not really structural. But other than that, all the rust is gone out of this car. Thankfully, well, not rockers, but we're gonna replace those with carbon. But yeah, so that's it. Thank you again to KF Vintage for sponsoring us. We're going to continue using your terrific products. If you guys want to check out the stuff that they have, go to kfvintage.com or just click the link in the description below.